Hello everyone, welcome to the Arsenal 2X Galaxy podcast. I'm your host, Alonzo Lonnie Spencer, and this has gotten off to a rough start. Right, so joining me today is my friends Russ, Morgan, and Tony Turner. How are you guys doing today?
Good mate.
Yeah.
Give me 2 minutes.
No problem.
Oh, Joe Hendry appeared.
Hey Tony, how you doing, pal?
Feeling a little bit better than yesterday, so kept myself and made myself more anemic than I normally am. I was woozy all day yesterday, so that's why I didn't do a show.
Excuses.
Russ, how,
Oh,
Russ, how you been, pal? How things going in England?
Give me 2 minutes, mate. 2 minutes.
Okay.
it's gonna be like a minute now since he said 2 minutes.
Give me 1 second, Tony. I'm gonna do something real quick. So, Tony, so I hope you are better now that the ordeal is done. Hope that you are okay.
Yeah, feeling a little bit better. It takes a little while to feel better after that, but I'm here.
Well, thanks for being here. So this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, is the Night of Champions. And I'm sure Russ will probably get on with that as soon as he gets done doing what he's doing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm off tomorrow, Tony, so I'll be able to watch it with you and Russ. I'm looking forward to seeing how the outcome is. Tony, can you elaborate more on what's going to go on tomorrow?
It's Nights of Champions. Main event will be CM Punk versus John Cena. Then you have Karrion Cross versus Sami Zayn, which was a makeup for Dominic. He was supposed to go versus AJ Styles, but Dominic Mysterio picked up the injury somewhere. You got Jay Cargill versus Asuka, which I'm sure Asuka will win. Then we'll have Asuka versus Io Sky at SummerSlam. Because it will be going on at this exact time tomorrow. It starts. So,
What time does this start for me, Tony? I've got no idea.
1800, Russ.
1800, 6 o'clock. How long's it on for? 3 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that's tea time.
that's detail. Always excuses for us.
So, as I watched SmackDown and both Raw, I felt kind of disappointed in the fact that Alexa Bliss didn't get more of a title shot. It seems like they're getting pushes from people who have had injuries, and they feel like they're more deserving of that chance to get pushed. Just like Charlotte Flair did get a big push at WrestleMania. It's kind of weird though that seems like the dynamic now on wrestling that you see more and more people will get in pushes, come off an injury, or they're working hard at a title shot. What are your guys' opinion on that theory of wrestlers being hurt coming back, and there's some wrestlers that are getting held back from coming back from a long absence? Russ, what are your thoughts? And then we'll go to Tony.
I mean, asking me is a bit awful because Tony gives me the rundown. So, and we didn't do it last night, so I'm a little bit. Ask Tony first, and then I can just copy what he says.
Right. So this is basically we're going to talk about things that were happening last night on live podcast because to be fair, Tony was out ill
Tony
and
was
I
out
was work
cold.
and I was out working. So this is like the extension of the drop ship missile podcast talk show host stuff.
Yeah, so basically, this is the
Extension,
missile drop kick for this week, but
right?
with no
So
slides.
With no slides. Slide free.
a very much earlier edition. Right, Tony. So go ahead, Tony. So how do you feel about absentees, reversers, coming back from injury more so than not? Others coming back, like Alexa Bliss, for example. She was out for almost 2 years, I believe, and
I mean, she had a baby, didn't she?
She
yeah,
was
she
doing
did.
mom duties.
To be
She
fair,
was doing.
That's a bit different from being like injured and needing to rehab.
well, we call it a long term
That's
absence.
self-inflicted. That is.
Right,
Same with
but
Becky Lynch. I mean, she was wanting more money than she probably ended up getting, and
but
now she's scrawny and does not look like a professional
You've
wrestler.
really gone off her, haven't you, Tony?
right. So we're talking about like how we're so basically, like I said, Alexa Bliss, gets dumped into the Money in the Bank and Elimination Chamber after coming back, loses both those events. Um, and Oscar, for example, and Charlotte Flair in the past have gotten these great pushes. And is it Tony? Is it favoritism or just how it's written in the storylines?
I, I think it kind of depends on the injuries because I commented because I seen photos of Oscar at the hospital ready for surgery, and like they never said she was injured, never mentioned why she was gone. Same with Kyrie Sane, they just didn't mention and talk about it. But there's so many injured. Like you got Dominic injured now, you got cousin Liv injured now, and both Batongans are out. There's about 13, 14 main roster people out. So it's kind of a pick and choose. Like I said, you originally were to have Mysterio versus. I think Russ would enjoy that. AJ Styles versus
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Mysterio.
AJ Styles will eat him.
But like Friday, you ended up with
Thing is,
Solo.
guys, do you think it's because? Do you think it's the way that they're wrestling these days, or do you think it's just bad luck, or do you think it's the way that they train, or do you think it's something else?
I think
Uh,
it's a bit. I personally think Russ is a bit of everything. Because wrestlers nowadays they perform these high risk maneuvers where now it's just the norm, right? Before these high risk maneuvers weren't used in the '90s, early 2000s, and they become the norm now, where fans want to see new moves being done, new stunts being done. Because of that, you have lack of training for these maneuvers now, and you're seeing new wrestlers evolve. You're seeing new wrestlers make new moves or do moves rather, and some of these wrestlers are kind of they don't get to work with each other as much as they would like to, or they're seeing new wrestlers from NXT come in and try their best because they had the need to want to impress the main roster.
Yeah.
So some of them can be sloppy at times and not being as careful as they should. And with that said, I think in an instance, Liv Morgan was just a freak accident. I don't think Harry Zane meant to do that. Um, it's just an unlucky fall. Um, but yeah, you're seeing a lot of injuries to key wrestlers, and most of the time you're seeing these wrestlers not perform well because they're out of shape as well. I mean, Dominic's not as muscular as say AJ Styles. So, but you never know. But I think it's a little bit. It's a mixture of everything, Russ.
What do you think, Tony?
I think Russ should listen to Russ on the missile drop kick because Russ always comments, "Why are these wrestlers on all three shows?"
Yeah, it's only a certain
I,
amount of them. It's only like one. Well, all right. Let's say between 5 and 10 wrestlers. They can do 3 shows a week essentially,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got this whole roster of people that are just sitting there out the back, just doing absolutely nothing. They've been training all week, eating right, I assume, and they're called to TV. They're not used, and you're using the same sort of like Dominic and all. They're on all these shows all the time, and it just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, you got Dominic where he's been on, or not Dominic, but Karrion Cross where he's been on main event trying to negotiate a new contract, but he comes out from nowhere, and now he's going tomorrow for Sammy, which is kind of a weird match. It seems like they just threw together, but
I think the only person that's trying to get screwed out of that is AJ Styles. And AJ Styles himself has been hurt a lot recently in the past 2, 3 years.
But
yeah,
that's
he's
down to age as well, though. To be
Yeah.
fair, I mean, you say it's like Randy Orton. He has a little bit of a run, and he gets injured. That's just age. It's just age is just
Mm-hmm.
taking the toll on his body.
but what's weird with him, he actually hasn't been injured, but they just haven't been using him. He has like a 4 month vacation for.
Yeah, and you just say that you have the same people maxing out all the airtime and everything, and you just like, I mean, it just gets to a point where some of these guys just sitting there. So, what the bloody point of me being here?
Yeah, I don't get the way they use some of the talent.
Tony
and
and Russ, you got.
and
Go ahead, sorry, Tony.
and you have one like Rodriguez where she was out forever, and just it seems like Triple H slash Paul, whatever you want to call him.
Hey,
The
Paul.
game.
But I think he definitely sees her as the next China. And just put her in all these matches that I don't think she deserves because she's nowhere. I mean, I don't think she could win against 2/3 of NXT, let alone what's on Raw or SmackDown.
Hey, Paul.
Well, I think to be fair, Tony, I think Raquel Rodriguez has kind of had a bad luck with her face condition or her skin condition and all that, so she took time off. But I think there's promise there with Raquel Rodriguez, especially now since Liv Morgan's out, and I think her feuding with Rhea Ripley could be the best thing that happened to her. To be fair, I think there are certain wrestlers that deserve pushes, and there's some wrestlers that need pushes. I think she needs one because she's done tag team already. She's won that, and I think she's now going to be a tag team partner with Roxanne Perez, right? So I think there's different kind of risks versus reward with Roxanne, or excuse me, Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I think she gets a little bit too much of a push. I don't think she's that great. I mean, for her first like 9 months, all you seen her was with all these backless outfits on, just trying to highlight her strength, which she doesn't look ripped. She doesn't look muscular. She might be strong, but she just doesn't look
Take
jacked
that
like
back,
you would
Tony.
not like a Jade Cargill or
Right.
even Tiffany Stratton or some of those that they definitely have the strength and stuff, but she just doesn't look like she has it. Apparently she does, but
I think she does, Tony. I think that there's certain kind of figures to be added on as well. She is muscular for sure, but she doesn't really show it that much, which I get your point as well. Russ,
Hello.
you got any point to say about that?
Nope.
Fair enough.
No, it's just yeah, it's just the thing. It's like I said before. You just got people being used all over all the time. Obviously, I appreciate the fact that TKO tell the WWE to make as much money as possible, so they have the same people who make the most money. I assume like Dominic Mysterio. I assume that he makes WWE a lot of money. He gets them a lot of views, a lot of clicks, blah 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 blah. But as I say, these people are just going to get injured because they're overworked. But then, if you look at it another way, the guys in the 80s used to work like quite a lot, most like nights. They didn't get much time off. But then obviously, like you said, it's because the way they wrestled was different from the way that they wrestled today. They didn't like jump off the top rope very often. They just used to work on the mat. So obviously the risk of injury was a lot less. You can still get injured, but yeah, the risk was a lot less. But yeah, it's just the fact that they're just over wrestling some of these guys.
Russ, you mentioned the 80s wrestlers. What do you call that era? The cartoon era? Or what do you call that era of wrestling?
The golden era.
The golden era, where they all had nice golden hair
Right.
and
So,
waved flags.
because, Tony, you probably remember this, but they had a cartoon on Hulk Hogan's friends and all that, and it was pretty funny. What was that
Rock and
cartoon?
wrestling. Rock
Yeah.
and wrestling. Yes, everybody remembers that.
Yeah, man. It came on syndication here in the States, and it was pretty funny, man. The Iron Sheik and all that.
That's why for me I thought Mid South was real wrestling, and to that point when WCW started out.
Oh, the NWA was good wrestling, yeah, don't get me wrong. The WWF was just like cartoonish. Everybody has a job, a gimmick job.
Going to
Trash
town.
can man.
There's the Mad Russian, the Mad Iranian.
They had Doink the Clown. They had Rebo Man. It's like what?
Yeah. The Repo Man. You had the Mountie, and everyone had to have a gimmick.
My lookalike, as Stan thinks, about Boss Man.
I'm a big boss man.
Big boss man, nails.
Picking junkyard dog.
Had a model.
He was so good in Mid South, and they just didn't know what to do with him on WWF.
Who's that?
Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog.
The fans still adored him, but it's like they just didn't have any direction for him.
Here in Texas and Oklahoma too, they had a WWCW, WWC, WWCCW, or the Von Erichs and the
WCC, WWCW.
World Class Championship.
Yeah, there it is. And that was pretty cool too. Early morning on Sundays. Was it Saturday or Sunday, Tony?
It was Saturday.
Yeah.
For me, it was like me and my dad would watch cartoons from 5 in the morning until 11. Then we'd have lunch. Then we'd come back and watch 3 or 4 different wrestling shows that we could watch.
He-Man and what was it, Transformers?
He-Man, Transformers, Thundercats, yeah.
G.I. Joe.
Get him back.
The real American hero, not Hulk Hogan.
The Slaughter was in that as well.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah, but I miss that age of the 80s because on those cartoons, each station going into, I guess it'd be the fall and spring seasons of it, they'd have preview shows on CBS, NBC, and ABC.
Do you guys remember on CBS, Tony, they had that Saturday morning block where they had Dungeons and Dragons and all that?
Yeah.
Right. So, what are you guys' predictions on the Night of Champions wrestling program on tomorrow afternoon?
Oh dear, let me have a look because I don't know who's wrestling.
Same here, Russ.
You got John Cena versus
CM Punk, right? Phil,
Big Phil's going to win the title.
the Pandemonium, right?
No, he's going to get screwed over. He's going to get screwed over, isn't
By R-Truth.
he? Well, yeah. I mean, R-Truth could actually interfere, and John Cena gets disqualified.
You mean Ron Killings?
Yeah, Ron Killings, that's right.
His name is Big Ron.
Then you have Solo Sikoa versus Jacob
Ron.
Fatu.
Oh, I can't wait for that one, Tony.
I've
I've got plans now. I'm not going to watch it. I've got plans tomorrow. Sorry, they've just come up.
Oh, he went blank. Perfect.
Yeah, so Tony, I've got plans tomorrow. I can't join you tomorrow. It's gone again.
Mate, if you get that stupid Simone Spike when you're pissed.
He's got a phone call. He never turns off his phone, does he?
Fucking hell, man. So, Russ,
Give
I
him
swear to
10
God,
Samoan spikes.
if he does that Simone Spike crap, I'm gonna be pissed, man. It's like useless, man.
Solo Sikoa must be the most useless wrestler in a prominent position I think I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
He rarely wrestles. He never wrestles.
How did he get that job, Russ? How did he get promoted to the WWE from the NXT roster?
Born into the right family.
That's crazy, man. I just hope that there's something when the Tongans come back. I just hope that they do something with that faction, man, because it's useless now, you know?
Yeah, you should just get rid of the. I mean, the whole bloodline thing is just dead. There's no more money. There's nothing creative to come from it. It should just die a death. Let them go their own ways and just think of something else. Just it's so passe now. It's just ridiculous.
Well, that's like Roman Reigns is coming back, and they're trying to get alternative names besides for Tribal Chief or OTC. They're trying to get a new name for him. So it's hard to do much when you got but two Tongans out of it. You got with California Samoans.
They're not even Samoans. Tongans. How can you run out of Samoans? It's not possible.
So then you had. Oh, you want to say something else, Tony, about the Tongans and Samoans and all that?
I was gonna say it's funny, but only one that uses their real last name is Naomi because she's actually listed as whatever her fucking hippie first name is.
Okay, Tony. So obviously, you know, Nia Jax and is related to the bloodline somehow. So why can't they incorporate her and Naomi as a tag team or allies here and there?
Well, Naomi's got the briefcase, so there's no point in her being in a tag team. No.
Yeah. I mean, they've tried several different people in Nia Jax. It's always for short term. It seems like she's kind of in the talent enhancement part of her career, even though she did get a pretty good run. But
and just to follow up on that, I did pick Naomi to win that Money in the Bank briefcase, didn't I, Tony?
Yeah, like 2 months in advance or something.
Yeah, it wasn't 10 minutes after the fact she won it. It was before.
Well, Phil his trainers, huh?
Phil's trainers, yeah. Sneakers.
One of these days we'll have to have an audio playback of that.
No, that one is gone. It's consigned to history.
So another. Let's finish going through the thing real quick. You got Sammy Sammy versus Karrion Cross.
So, what are your thoughts on that match, guys?
I still think it's hilarious. No matter who Karrion's going against, he does the hair like it, so he's had the little tiny man bun going. But I mean, this match doesn't make any sense. It's just like, I guess you got so much main event guys injured. It's like you can't do too much. They could have put Penta in there, but
Do you think
it
that
is what it is.
do you think Karrion Cross was used as a big push?
I mean, his contract's coming up. The fans, he's been doing kind of this guerrilla campaign. Um, he was doing non-guerrilla things last week, which Rush can tell you what he did last week to get attention after the match.
Russ, who are your predictions for the match?
Which match?
Sami Zayn and Karrion Cross.
Oh God. Logically, it should be Sami Zayn, shouldn't it? But Karrion Cross is another one. I don't think I've seen him wrestle since he got back. Because obviously I don't really watch the shows. I got no idea, honestly.
Yeah, he's been out of action for some time, right, Tony?
And he's been healthy. They just haven't been using him, and he's been doing grab ass stuff.
Oh, brilliant. At WWE's expense, right?
Yeah.
Before,
But he did this guerrilla campaign to get a new T-shirt added since he didn't have like any merchandise, and now he's on a pay-per-view. So I guess somebody there likes him, but it's just one of those matches like I don't care really. It's kind of like what Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley one. I just kind of.
Rhea Ripley.
So before I go any further, I just want to give a big shout out to Chase Briscoe. He won Pocono by barely beating Denny Hamlin. Chase Briscoe was going to run out of gas, but somehow kept his fuel in check and was able to beat Denny Hamlin to win his first race of the season, his first race for Joe Gibbs Racing, which was pretty exciting given the fact that you guys favorite NASCAR driver Martin Truex Jr. drove 19 for I believe 4 years, so it's pretty cool to see him finally win one. Pretty nice that he's in the playoffs now and is currently 8th on the points. So looking forward to seeing how he does at Atlanta. That, my friends, is my NASCAR comments of the week. Right. So next up, Tony and Russ is Jade Cargill versus Asuka. Now, as I mentioned before, Asuka just returned from a long-term injury from her knee, and Jade Cargill really hasn't wrestled much up until the King of the Ring tournament. Queen of the Ring tournament. She has had issues like Naomi because of what Naomi did before WrestleMania, I believe. Or was it Royal Rumble, Tony?
Royal Rumble.
Right. So that put Jade Cargill out, and so she attacked Naomi at the Elimination Chamber, costing Naomi a chance to wrestle for the title. Right. So, what are you guys' prediction for the match against Jade Cargill and Asuka? Tiger, go you first.
Usually with these, they don't give it to a person that just came back from injury. but I have a feeling they're going to. Even though if you follow the writing and stuff, you'd say it's Cargill since she keeps going at Tiffany Stratton's. So I could see it going either way, but I think going into SummerSlam, they want. I think people would probably want Asuka. Oop, ball magically bounce in the restroom, but Asuka versus Io Sky, but probably bigger draw would be Tiffany versus Cargill since I I just don't like how you just had not that far back from Elimination Chamber. Then you got it with the Royal Rumble as well, where you basically can pick who you're going against. And I thought it was quick to have them have matches to go back up with champions. But I don't know. I'll go with Cargill because they got to do something with her at some point.
Russ?
Yeah, I'd say it makes sense for Cargill to win. I know obviously Asuka's just come back from injury, and you might want to see her win, but yeah, Cargill they've got to sort of build her up to be some kind of monster effectively because she's definitely got the look and the physique. So yeah, I mean just having her lose randomly wouldn't really make sense. Jade Cargill.
Yeah, Jake Cargill to me deserves it. Deserves that push. I remember she's been better as far as not being too hard to work with. I remember we would make fun of her because I believe where was it, Tony? Was it Australia last year or was it in Saudi
Uh,
last year that she hit them messing
I,
up?
I just remembered you were asking me why they hadn't featured her more, and I'm like, she's hurting people. Then then
Yeah.
then she then she hurt somebody during there in Australia, and then she had a fake injury where she went off into eh, training at the training center in Florida with the NXT people.
But what pay-per-view was it where the ropes weren't properly enforced? Was that Australia or was
I
that
think
Saudi?
I think it was Australia.
Okay, because AJ Styles also had issues, remember?
Yeah, that was where everybody was screwing up.
Hmm.
That might have been Saudi. I can't remember.
Right. So what's the next match? Is it CM Punk, John Cena, or is it Gunther and Goldberg?
Goldberg's at Saturday night's main event in a
Okay.
couple of weeks.
Goldberg.
But you got John. You got
Unless there's a load of adverts during the match, you won't see it.
you got Randy versus Cody.
Randy
Yes,
versus
friend.
Cody, Tony. Who's going to win that one?
Uh, it should be Randy since he's been healthy for almost 2 years, but yeah, it'd probably be Cody.
It's got to be Cody, isn't it?
Yep.
He's got to restart and finish his story.
There are rumors out there that he might turn heel pretty soon.
That started about the same time when Kevin Owens attacked him, as when he kind of said he wanted a heel turn, but I don't think I'll do it this early. I'll wait a little while longer.
Right. So I personally think, I honestly hope Randy Orton wins this one simply because Tony, I'm assuming, thinks that he deserves another title shot. I honestly want him to break the record, Tony, not John Cena. Um, and I hope it does work out for him. I think he deserves it more so than John Cena does. I personally think John Cena making a fool out of himself. I did not see the pipe bomb um, last Friday now, was it? So I was at work, so I didn't bother. Um, so of course, I'm sure Russ and Tony think the same way, that CM Punk's gonna get screwed over, just like Randy Orton did prior to that. Any thoughts on Cyril versus John?
Yeah, it's obvious CM Punk's not going to win. He's going to get screwed over. So either John Cena gets disqualified, and yeah, I can see Ron Killings possibly doing a run in or something. I don't know actually because he did that not long ago. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll get involved in another way or not. I don't know.
Or are you the opinion that Travis Scott could also interfere?
Oh God, he's 10 pounds dripping wet. That man. If he gets involved, he's just slap him. He's gonna fly off somewhere. How can he get?
Fine,
How can they send
fine.
him out there? Literally say that he's a legitimate threat to anyone.
It's just,
Even I could give him a slap and probably fall over.
right, Tony.
I think you'll definitely see Rollins and
Oh, he does interfere. I didn't think
yeah,
about that.
I think it'll interfere. I think it's gonna be like that match the other day where it started on as a well, four people as a fatal four way, and then you ended up with six people interfering with the match.
It is. It's going to be a very screwy finish.
But I don't know. I have a feeling that maybe CM Punk does win this.
And he wins a world title. No, Tony, you would give up. You'd stop watching if that happened.
Maybe.
I'd have to finish a stream by myself.
I would just say fuck Phil and disappear like Russ just did.
Phil's my
Right.
favourite, Tony. I'm never going to change my mind.
Now, do you prefer him with his trainers or do you prefer him with his wrestling boots?
Tony prefers the trainers.
Oh, that was pretty funny. Hey, Rudy, how's it going, pal? Good to see you, man. Hey, Ben, Rudy's here with us, guys. So thanks for being on, Rudy, and enjoy your company, pal.
I'm John Cena. I'm the Invisible Man. You see,
You can't see me.
Juan Cena.
Rudy, so who do you prefer as Arsenal striker next year? Cisco, Bucharest, or Roddy Watkins?
That's a
Now, we just,
horrific question to ask.
I don't know, but Rudy's a good guy, so we'll give him a shout. Right. So, um, with all that said, do you guys have any high expectations for Night of Champions? Do you expect it to be? Oh wow, I need to watch that F1. I thought it was
Oh, the
decent.
film, the movie.
Yeah, he thought it was pretty cool, pretty decent. I'm gonna watch it hopefully sooner or later.
I want to
Whoa,
watch it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it. But if it's on somewhere, sometime, I'll probably watch it. I'm not a
it will
massive
be.
fan of F1, so
It will be on Apple TV in 3 weeks. So
Is that right, Tony?
yeah.
he's lying.
No.
Oh, Tony.
It's weird, I guess, because they've been hemorrhaging so much money on these movies. They said they're not going to do any more of these summer movies. It's kind of weird saying that before they
Summer
see what this one.
blockbuster.
But this is getting good reviews. It's the same director as
One Night in China.
no, not One Night in China. Independence Day and
Oh, okay.
can't remember the other
Yeah,
one.
what's his name, Tony?
I don't remember.
Roland Emmerich.
I understand. Yeah, it's what I'm worried about Russell Tony is that Arsenal are going to use one of their elite midfielders to become a striker. So really, I get it, man. It's just too much. Until I had that shirt on, that means I know that they're signed with Arsenal. Um, so I hope the Champions works out. Of course, the Saudis depend on it. They want that exposure, which could be bad and good for us traditional fans. I'm looking forward to watching it only because there's some real hope that maybe someone else win the title except for John Cena. Um,
One Cena.
I don't think Alex has ever wrestled Jay Cargill before, so that in itself could be intriguing also. Um, we'll see what happens, but I have a feeling that Sami Zayn could lose to Karrion Cross. Because Karrion Cross was kind of like, kind of not bullied, but kind of confronted Sami Zayn about not being a championship caliber wrestler. Um, so we'll see what happens. I think there'll be a lot more storylines coming out of the Night of Champions than we think. But yeah, I only hope for the best for that pay per view. Um, so who knows what's gonna happen? But I'm hoping that at least we get a good pay per view worth watching. Thoughts on that?
It's weird because just like 4 months ago, they're saying that they weren't going to be a Saudi event this year. We've had two a year for 7 years. Then they, it seemed like at the last minute, decided to do this one. And what's going on in that part of the world is kind of dangerous having it. So hopefully nothing happens. I know all the wrestlers came in yesterday on a private jet, but the pre-production people they had to throw it flying to Qatar, however you want to say it, since they always change the names of how these countries are pronounced.
Hmm.
I don't get it. It was like Qatar forever. Then Qatar.
Guitar.
Who knows? But
It's
it should
Qatar.
be. It should be an alright event.
First, do you have any expectations or do you have any at all?
No, as I say, I just echo Tony saying I hope nothing happens. But in Saudi, generally, I don't think they tend to get involved in any of those Middle Eastern issues as such because they've got all the oil and all the money. So I think they just let the other countries sort of fight it out for whatever they want. Yeah, you generally don't hear the Saudis getting involved. So I
Yeah,
don't think that there will be any trouble tomorrow.
yeah. When you got as much money as their royal family does, as much power in the area, they just don't really involve themselves.
No.
Kind of like Jordan, they never get involved in the stuff.
Yeah, it's always the countries like Iran, Libya, all those Syria, all those countries tend to have a beef with someone, and Iraq, obviously. So yeah, it's generally. I don't really want to talk about this too much because it's it's just there's always trouble in that area anyway. It's always there's always tension there. So
Right. Lines. Rugby's right. Talking about rugby, Rudy. Yeah, I think they start playing here in the Americas. I think they're playing Argentina. But this nation, America, United States, is not a rugby nation just yet. However, Houston Cybercats is playing in the final tomorrow of their rugby league on ESPN. So, and also good news. If you know rugby, the Lions tomorrow. My distant cousin Ben Spencer is back on the team. Very happy about that, as Russ is as well. So we'll see what happens. He captains the Bash rugby team. So very
I'm
proud of
probably
him.
closer related to him than you are.
Oh, Russ, we're not going to hear this
There
today.
you
So
go.
that means we're second cousins then, Russ.
Possibly.
Cousin.
You
Cousin.
never
Right.
know.
So very proud moment for defensive player. Right. So moving forward. So as us three are very well established Gooners, yes, Matt. Right. So us three are very, very huge, as Rudy is as well, Arsenal supporters, and we made some signings this past week and a half. We got in Kepa, we got in Newsguard, and we got in Mendy. And there are more transfers to come. The young center back from, I believe it's Valencia. What are you guys' thoughts on the signings so far? And what signings have you rumored to be linked to Arsenal that could and may not happen? We'll go to Russ on this one because he's in England.
Oh, thank you. That's just put the pressure on. Right. So Zubimendi, we knew that was coming. We were told about that. God, feels like a lifetime ago.
It was literally last year.
Yeah, it was last year at some point. Like, no, when was it? Like, there was some. Yeah, they just suddenly come out with Zubimendi sign. I can't remember when it was. It was we literally had. It wasn't great news, and then was it? We lost to Man United in the FA Cup fight in the FA Cup. I don't know. I can't remember. And it was literally like, bam, yeah. I know it was when Edu was leaving, wasn't it? They suddenly said, yeah. Oh, by the way, Edu's leaving, but by the way, we're signing Zubimendi in the summer.
Yeah,
That was it.
that
And
was his last deal. So.
yeah, so I mean, fair play, he's done that. So we've known about that coming for ages. It's the other signings that have just sort of come out of the blue, which are obviously not out of the blue from Arsenal's point of view, because obviously they must have been tracking these players for quite a long time. But so generally Arsenal's transfers usually they usually get leaked, and then it takes all summer to get them done. But yeah, so we've lost Partey, we've lost Jorginho. I agree with Riddy that Norgard is he is essentially the replacement for
Yeah.
Jorginho. So I don't know if he. The thing is, it's hard to judge because Jorginho never really got a sustained run in the team, and Jorginho was one of the players with the experience. He was a leader. He had leadership qualities, and obviously Norgard's coming in from Brentford. He's their captain. So whatever those sort of leadership qualities that we've lost, we've gained with Norgard anyway. And from what it sounds like, Norgard's going to be on like half the wages of either
Partey.
Jorginho or Partey, one of them. But even if Norgard's on 50, 60,000 pound a week, I can't imagine Jorginho was on any less than 100.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saving money that way. You're saving money on giving Partey a signing on fee or Jorginho a signing on fee, plus the wages Partey would have asked for would have been more than what he's on now. So for that reason alone, I think it's good Arsenal have said no, shut that down, off you go, because we're not going to pay him any more. I mean, he's 4 years older than when he signed his last contract. So that was a waste of time. So I'm quite happy. He's Premiership ready. He's played in the Premiership for 3 seasons. He's Brentford's captain. He can obviously do a job, and if he stays fit, then he can just come on and he can help us see games out. I've got absolutely no issue with that transfer. Now, the other lad, I don't really know much about him, to be fair, because he plays for Valencia. Obviously, he's he was born in Colombia, I think, but he's played for these Spanish international teams all the way through up to under 21. I believe on Football Manager and FC 24 or whatever, he was always one of these wonder kids or something. So there's obviously something there. Um, for the price we're paying, I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. So I think we're getting him for like between 15, 20 million euros, which is absolutely fine for a 21-year-old with obviously he's got to adapt. He's obviously got to change the way his style of play to suit the Premier League. But he's 21. He's 21 today, I think,
So
and
then,
he's gonna grow into the position. He's got the best teachers in the world as Saliba and Gabriel. So I'm more than happy for us to get these transfers in and sort of spend your money big after. And then obviously we're getting Kepa as well. So I mean that's done. He's Chelsea, 5 million quid. He's a decent keeper. He's prone to a ricket, but he's going to be your second choice. So I've got no issue with that at all.
isn't
But
it Christian?
but is Kip actually done? Because I know we're going after another keeper that for like 10 million.
Who, Chelsea or us?
Us in the last few days we've been linked to a different keeper.
Well, Chelsea have got about 15 keepers, haven't they? Anyway,
Yeah.
I think Kepa's done. I think that's all done, signed, pretty much. I don't know why they're waiting. I know there's only a couple of days until the PSR thing ticks over. So what I think we've done now is we've spent the excess money that we've got. We've spent it now because then when the next PSR window opens on the 1st of July, there's a whole different sort of accounting for that time. So we've obviously had some money spare. So I think what we've done is we spent that now, and then after the 1st of July, that's when you'll see the big money signings being looked at. So that'll be a
So
left winger and a striker.
his name is Tristan Macquarie, Masquera, something like that. Right. So I'm like you, Russ. I like Norgard as a replacement for Jorginho. I think he's defensively sound. He's a good midfielder for Brentford. He's a captain, so he brings a lot of leadership qualities. I remember watching Brentford play Arsenal at times, and he was fit, right? And he's got a nose for goal at times. And Brentford have a really good team, from mid-table team. With that said, I think it'll work. I think he
The only
knows
thing
his
is
role.
the only thing is he signed for Arsenal knowing that he's not going to play every single game.
Hmm.
So he's come from Brentford where he's a captain and he plays all the time. So I assume that he's been told that, by the way, you come to Arsenal, it's a bigger challenge. You will get game time, but we do not expect yourself to start every single game, which you won't do.
Tony.
Um, I really thought this year Jorginho was underused. It wasn't until like November that he got his first start. For some reason, Arteta just didn't fancy him. So this is kind of like a like for like signing. Uh, I'm glad we didn't go out and pay 260, 280,000 to keep Partey there, especially with his age and everything. It's like this year is really the only year you got to see Thomas Partey we thought we were buying because of injuries and just having a hard time adapting to Premier League and stuff. So small business getting done, but we definitely need, like Russ said, left winger. I'd get two strikers. You still can get Jonathan David on the three, or even Watkins. Probably not much this summer. Then you can still go for the bigger guys. But I would still shop in the Premier League. I know Liverpool looking at Isaac. I just I don't know why we don't shop more in the Premier League, because Arsenal has always sold the Premier League teams, but you don't see us buying too much from them except for washed out Chelsea players.
I think that's changed a little bit under Arteta. I think Wenger never used to buy. He always used to see what bargains he could get from abroad. There was rarely he would ever buy players from the Premier League, and I think now that's changed because obviously we've got. All right, so this will be the second player we signed from Brentford. You've got Ben White. You've got a few others. I think we are sort of Declan Rice, obviously. I think you do need to buy players that are Premier League ready, ones that have been there and done it. They, as I say, this Norgard, he may not be the best player in the world, but he knows exactly what's going to be asked of him, and he knows the rigors of the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see him play. To be honest, I know it's limited playing time, but I know there's some fans that always want the extravagant signing, and it's kind of the way I think these younger Arsenal supporters have been in the past, where they're not satisfied with just that one cable signing, right? They want the spectacular. Zubimendi, we've been linked with since I think January. It seems like he agreed to terms then, and so I think like Tony had said, I think Ali Watkins to me would be the preferred preferred pick, but he would be the most obvious pick because he has Premier League experience. He has a knack for goal. He scored against Arsenal numerous times. Um, and there's some supporters that don't reckon Sesko and Bucharest because Sesko's so young. He's inconsistent, and Bucharest comes from uh, Portuguese league, which they haven't worked out here in the Premier League with other teams. Any of these other players from said league. So that being said, let me ask both of you: who do you guys would you prefer Arsenal sign? Of course, there are more strikers out there, but we're going to lean to those three more so: Bucharest and Cisco.
Go on, Tony.
It's my turn again. Russ doesn't want to answer.
I don't. I really don't. But you carry on.
So you're asking who you want us to sign for striker, basically.
Who would you prefer?
Out of those two, it'd be Bucharest, even though we had Sambi Lakanga, Tavad, Teabag. It's like everybody tries to hit these home runs with these Portuguese players, and that
All
doesn't
right,
seem to happen.
somebody came from Portugal or they came from Intellect?
Who?
Somebody came from Intellect, didn't he?
I
Somebody.
can't.
Sambi
I can't.
Lokonga, yeah, he came from Anderlecht. But I see what Tony's saying though.
Okay, right, yeah.
You got
Well,
Tavares and all those sorts of players. I mean, Tavares, we should have sold him after 5 games. He looked like he was amazing.
yeah.
They said Man City wanted to offer 45 million. He should have said, yes, please, off you go. See you later.
Sorry, Tony, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was done.
He's reading.
Yeah, but to me, like, it's a shame that Vieira didn't pan out for Arsenal. Because there's glimpses of talent there. It just didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Do you think he'll? Do you think that he'll get sold? Do you think he'll be sold, and or do you think he'll stay? That's,
Me?
yeah.
Me what? What did you ask me?
Do you think Vieira will stay, or do you think he'll be
Oh,
sold?
Vieira. I don't know. It's it's very he obviously has been playing at the Club World Cup. He hasn't I think Porto are already out, so I don't think that I think his loan with them has effectively finished. I'd like to see him get given another go. I think the problem is I think it's his stature that doesn't help him in the Premier League. He looks very lightweight, and he's got a good killer ball. Don't get me wrong. I've seen him. Some of the passes he can play are fantastic, but he's never got a decent run in the side, so I don't think we really know what he could be capable of. But saying that, if he's even gone back to Porto and not set the world alight, then I don't think there's much chance of him doing much for Arsenal. So basically, try to sell him. If you can't sell him, loan him. If you can't loan him, just use him if you have to.
Like we did with who oh well, like Ozil, right? We couldn't sell him, we couldn't loan him out, so he ended up staying on the bench.
I think he's only got 1 year left on his contract,
Mm.
Vieira. So, as I say, you either loan him out or sell him, or just use him in the cups.
buy it out and let him go.
I think we need to move past just getting rid of players like that. We've had a history recently of doing that with players like Ozil, Aubameyang, like who else?
There was like 3 or 4
Yeah, I'm sure
within that one
defender
window.
in there as well.
Oh, Colin Chambers. Oh, Rob Holding.
No, Rob Holding was sold to Crystal Palace.
Oh,
and he never played for him, which was quite funny.
Who was it? Lichtsteiner.
At least yeah, he was there for 1 season. No, the German defender we had.
Oh, Mustafi.
Yeah, Mustafi. Yeah, I'm sure we let him go as well. But we get rid of the. As I say, I think we just need to move on from just getting rid of these players.
Tony, what are your thoughts on VR, Tony?
To me, he's kind of like one of those Danny Ceballos things. He just he just does not fit in the Premier League. That doesn't have a body. I mean, that sounds like he should go to Kai Havertz and learn how to work out on the gym, since Kai supposedly has broken all the training records in the locker room. Don't believe all that crap, but I think either loan him or sell him. I don't see the point of a loan, because if you loan him, then you're not getting anything for him anyway. So just try to find buyers for him. He'll probably go back and play somewhere in Portugal, and that's fine.
So the young lad is Mascara, right? So yeah, I mean, Mascara is a pretty talented signing, as you say, Russell Tony. I think he'll add cover. I think us Arsenal supporters have kind of needed one of Arsenal's backup center backs, because Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes have been hurt every so often these past 3 years. So it's good that they make signings for the center backs, so they can have so they don't have to worry about who's gonna like players playing out of position. So I'm kind of glad we got a young center back like Masquera. Sorry if I butchered his name, but yeah, looking forward to seeing him play and looking forward to how he handles himself with the likes of Megalegs and Saliba.
Yeah, I mean it's good we're getting this business done. We've fallen short in the past few seasons, and it looks like we're addressing some of those issues straight away, which is good because last summer was terrible in hindsight, and then not doing anything in January was just takes a biscuit, really.
So speaking of center backs and the backfields, what do you guys think about maybe Calafiori playing center back more so this year than he did last year? Because last year he was mainly used as a substitute left back, and I answered this question in a minute. So what are you guys' thoughts on Calafiori? Do you think you'll see him more as center back or same as left back this year?
I mean, him at left back, you see no defensive ability. So I'm not sure how that translates into center back. I hope we keep Kivior. I hope the young signing isn't just to replace Kivior because that would just be a sideward move. Because Kivior,
I don't think he's there to replace Kivior because Kivior's left-footed, and this young guy is right-footed, so I can't see. I think he's more a Saliba type cover.
but to me, I think Ben White should be the cover there because if he's running up and down as a fullback, it does more to his muscles and stuff. I think that's why he had that surgery because it was from the injury from a previous season. It carried over, never having time to heal. But
I think Ben White has had his best season as a right back, Tony. I mean, granted, he is a good center back, but I think Arteta using him as a right back has done pretty well actually, and he overlaps really well on Saka's side there. So I think that it's a shame how he got hurt, but Timber is a good one-on-one defender, or Ben White is pretty good down the flanks.
I just think what he does doing forward, then you have Ozil dropping back, which makes Ozil or not Ozil, but
For the guard.
makes Odegaard totally worthless there. He shouldn't be a box to box midfielder. He should be a attacking midfielder. There's no reason with the defense we have that he should be dropping back doing defensive cover, and that's what happens when White plays. So I would rather have a more sound person there right back.
Right. So, Rudy asked, how many points do you guys see us getting from our first 5 games? That's a tough one because no one expected Arsenal to have this brutal of a start of the season. I think it's a little bit unfair, but it is how it is the dealt it is the cards that we have been dealt as a fan group, supporter group, and the Arsenal have been dealt a rough hand.
At the end of the
Um,
day, if you've got to play these teams anyway,
right.
get them out of the
Play
way to begin
play
with,
them
then
all twice.
exactly you've got to play them all twice. Get you, and the best thing is you get those games out of the way.
Yeah.
If we can get 12 points from those first 5 games, I'll be quite happy. It's not going to happen. So I would say, all right. So let's say 9. If we win 3 of those games, fair enough.
Right. So we play Manchester United, which we could win, of
We
course.
can win that one.
and then we play Leeds, which we can win.
We should
Now,
win that.
granted, Tom won't like that, but then we play Liverpool, which, wow. The
I
worst
don't think
case
we've won at Anfield for years, so
is a draw.
we're probably not going to win that.
And then we play, I believe, the Nottingham Forest, we can win.
Nottingham Forest, yeah, we can win.
And we play City.
Yeah. But saying that, we haven't. Our record
Newcastle.
against the old top six sides isn't that bad
It's
recently.
not.
We haven't lost a lot of them. But City have spent a lot of money. Liverpool have spent a lot of money. Those two games are just going to be tough.
And we play Newcastle.
Where's that, home or away?
That is away.
Newcastle are a bit of a bogey team as well. So how many games was that? Was that 5 or 6 games?
That's 6.
Oh,
So first
okay.
5.
So yeah, so first 5. I think 9 points. If we get 9 points, I'll be happy.
Yeah, 9.515. Yeah, Russ, I agree with you. I think we gotta play harder at Anfield, which we could get a draw there.
That was at the end of the season. The league had already been wrapped up. Most teams have
Yeah.
been beating Liverpool. We couldn't.
Yeah, that's when Liverpool had already decided, we're not gonna risk our players. We got a trophy.
Exactly. So yeah. So and we couldn't even beat them when they weren't even asked.
Yeah, because we came from behind as well to tie that game, to draw that game. So
Yeah, we were on our knees as well with all the players we had injured and whatever. I mean, it was. I still don't know how we finished second. I still don't know how we did.
Because it was just a clusterfuck from 3rd to 7th.
yeah,
I mean, if any of
pretty
those
much.
had pulled their finger out, we should have finished. We could have finished 4th or 5th easily.
If we lost our last 2 games, we would have finished 6th and won ahead of the Champions League.
Exactly. I mean,
We're only
it's
like
either
2
a
points away
testament.
from that.
It was either testament to Arteta for keeping us as second, or the rest of them were just absolute shite.
I just think everybody was bad. Spurs, I don't think were as bad as the table shows. They just
Oh,
had a
they're terrible, Tony.
Spurs and United, just
ton
absolute
of
toilet,
injuries.
absolute toilet. And people think that Man United are getting back into Europe next season. You got to be joking.
I'm Ron. Jesus, man.
If they finish mid-table, that would be an improvement. That's about their level.
That's crazy, man.
But Spurs will get the cash influx of the Champions League.
That's crazy.
Well, at least United have done some business, haven't they? They've got signed Cunha and Buemo. Those are 2 good signings.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what forces you to sign with them. Is it the money they're offering? Because based on the club's trajectory, you really won't want to go there. But we are in a World Cup year where players want the guaranteed minutes.
I mean, it's kind of harsh, really, to have that. It's kind of harsh in a way where we have all these contenders early to start the season. That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
most of them are away from home. It's just like shit.
Yeah. That's what I kind of meant, really. It's like kind of harsh that we start majority of the start of the season on the road, which it is what it is, right? I mean, but then again, to beat these teams, you have to be, you never be champions, you have to beat these teams on the road, right? So, which you can do. There's no doubt about it. Um, oh yeah. So, Russ, you mentioned Man City spending abundance of cash over the summertime already. Um, I I was in the chat box last night on the Not Another Arsenal podcast, and they mentioned how they brought all these youngsters in just in case of a transfer ban or they can't afford they won't be allowed to buy any players because of the 15 or 115 count against them. So there's talk that they may be planning for the future just in case they get that transfer ban. Um, because they're discussing about how they might not even get that much of a penalty handed down, so maybe a fine, transfer bans, etc. This is why they're buying for the future and buying a lot of players to, so they won't have. They're buying ahead of time, basically. Um, you live in London, or excuse me, England. I'm not that far from London, I'm assuming. What are your thoughts on the whole scapegoat that is Manchester City and their 25, 120, 115 counts against them? Do you think they ever get in trouble?
Well, if they do, they'll get a fine, but there's no point in fining them because they'll just find this money from somewhere that will just kind of just rub their little magic lamp and a genie will pop out with loads of money. I think they are an abhorrent infliction on the Premier League. Them and Chelsea. I think Chelsea are doing the same. Chelsea are buying players because they're going to get a transfer ban at some point as well. So I think that's why Chelsea are buying all these players. So that once they get an embargo, they won't be able to sign players. But Man City is not good for the Premier League. All right, last year they had a dip. They can afford to have an off season. They still finished in the Champions League places. But for them, that's an underwhelming season. But obviously, Pep signed a new deal. I think Man City will be back next season. They'll put a run together. They'll probably have a title tilt for the title, so to speak. But with regards to Man City, I just don't really care because I think any punishment they get is not gonna. They're not gonna get relegated. They're not gonna get kicked out of the league or anything like that. So I don't see why I should really care about something that's out of my control. To be perfectly honest.
They'll just get some type of transfer ban, which never ends up hurting the team. Because you can sign the player, it just doesn't mean they can't play for you. So you can still
But
go
is a
get the
player
pay.
going to sign for you and not be able to play? That's another thing.
I just like most of these charges are stuff other teams do, and I think that's why it's been going so slow.
It's a shame that football and the FA won't have a tough enough stance on the wrongdoings that these clubs are allowing themselves to be doing. I think if you go in, there should be the process should have already been done with already. Um, it kind of corruption 101, right? And you have the FA handing down the penalties, but then there's not really no punishment. They should just hop on the wrist, and just go about your day. I think it's kind of unfortunate for the teams with that, with not that kind of money to spend on players. Do it year out and be okay with it. To have Pep and his financial stuff, whatever happens with that. It seems like if you're getting caught with these things, then they should be handed down to severe punishment. It's kind of an embarrassment to FA and their court systems that they have there. I don't know much about the court systems there in FA or if they have any leeway with that. But if you're being accused of something and you know you're doing wrongdoing, then they should be taken care of already, and not wasting anyone's time. The penalty should be
But
severe, so.
but if they get charged with anything, it always goes to that sporting whatever authority that thing, and it just they never end up doing anything.
It's a joke, you know. I mean,
Whatever their court of appeals is, but
think about it like this: if
I, for me, I don't too much care about it because, like I said, a lot of it, the way they structured with signings and stuff is what other teams do. Like last season, you had some of those teams like Aston Villa and stuff where they're like right up against the cap, but they were selling a 20 million player for 50 million to another team that was right up there on the bubble, and there was coercion there. But what they need to focus on is a fucking refereeing and a VAR.
hmm,
I can care less about these little minor infractions.
yeah, yeah, like for me, like I was reading on Facebook, I believe, and it was like after all of that, like Arsenal only had one game that cost them points. I'm like, where did this come from? So we all watched the Arsenal game, and I always think this one game against Newcastle. I think it was the season before last. How many infractions were there that cost Arsenal that game? Because the guy was three offsides. There was an infraction on the goalkeeper. The ball was out of bounds, yet it still counted as a goal. But wait, they made it 5 minutes to say the verdict on was it called, was this or not? It's like, what are they doing? Drinking a cup of tea and talking amongst their mates? Come on, it's like, how does that call go out? And it's just sad that Arsenal may or may have not lost points in those games, but I always point that Newcastle game away at St. James's Park, and just like, oh man, not again, dude. So I don't know. Tony, you're right about FA and the refereeing and the VAR, costing us valuable points during that stretch. Russ, with your points on refereeing, do you think it will ever get better? Do you think that VAR is kind of rigged?
Everybody knows I hate VAR. I hate the referees. They are not fit for purpose. You would have thought that we've got the best league in the world. You would have thought the referees would be the best in the world. They clearly aren't. They're biased. They have their own agendas. They all support various different clubs. And I am sure that they make decisions based on their own biases. A lot of them are based or born in the north, so they favour the northern clubs. You see Manchester City, you see Liverpool, you see these clubs from up north get away with more than we do. We do. If Arsenal do anything wrong, we get carded. We get straight carded for this. It's stupid. Every season it seems to get worse and worse. VAR, I think the VAR should be separate from the referees. They shouldn't be under the same organisation. They should be separate entities, one over here, one over here. The referee should not be pally with the VAR. They shouldn't interact. They should be totally separate organisation.
Mm.
And then hopefully that will stop them telling their mates what to do, what not to do. I just think it's an absolute farce, the whole lot of them. It needs restructuring. The referees are just terrible.
It's the only league I know that I can name almost every referee in. Hockey, baseball, football. There's only a couple names you remember there, and it's you're annoyed not because they're just terrible referees. It's just whatever quality they had. They used to have Ed Hercules in the NFL, which he was a lawyer, but he looked like he was working out with Vince every day because he was just jacked.
What's his name, Tony? What's his name, Russ?
Ed
Who?
Hercules.
The Jack referee.
Ed Hercules.
Oh, Ed Hercules, right? Yeah. Ed Hercules. That's right. Yeah. He quit. He quit like 10 years ago. Oh, Ed Hockley, yeah, he was a football referee, right?
Yeah, now his son does it.
That's right, yeah, Ed Hockley.
Oh, Hebner. Brian Hebner. There you go. Those are the only two refs I know.
Oh, field ref. He's got little Nate's, man. Charles Robinson.
Jessica, what's her name? Jessica Carr, my favourite.
You think?
Oh my god, dude.
Russ secretly sends her love letters.
Oh, I do. Yeah. So, when can I see your smile?
Hey, Russ, he's got little Nate's, man. Little Nate's.
Yeah, little Nate. Little Nate needs to come out wearing his dressing gown.
And what's the other one for WCW? Neil Patrick.
Neil Patrick, yeah, Randy Anderson. I remember a few of them.
You know all of them, Russ.
These days I don't. I used to. Used to.
Neil Patrick.
These days I don't have a clue. It's a shame because I think some of those guys retired, and it was the one who they let go of during COVID. The one who'd been there the longest.
Mike Chioda.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, he was a good.
Why get rid of him?
Yeah, he was a good ref, man. I like Mike Chioda. Where's he at now?
AEW, isn't he?
Is he really?
I think so.
Mike Chioda, and he was a good referee. I like Mike Chioda.
Yeah, but we all like Earl Hebner.
Oh, Earl. So Earl Hebner, remember when Triple H, right? When Triple H forced him to call 1, 2, 3, and Chris Jericho beat him, right? Beat Triple H, and Chris Jericho was pretty upset. That was pretty funny. Right. So Russ, are you going to be joining 29 for Night of Champions?
I will be around tomorrow. Yes.
Perfect.
Even though it's tea time.
Tea time, as in
dinner time.
All right. We're gonna have for dinner, Russ.
I think I'm gonna have a curry. Actually, I bought some curry sauce yesterday. I got some chicken. My wife isn't here. She doesn't like curry, so I can stink the whole place out.
That's cool, Russ. Tony, we're gonna have for dinner tomorrow night for our afternoon for the roast mushroom.
Steak. No, he's not. He's gonna have a McDonald's McMuffin.
It's not going to be a McDonald's McMuffin. It's going to be a Tony McMuffin that I make every morning.
With Tony McCoffee.
Tony likes muffins.
With Tony McCoffee.
Yeah, a bit of strong coffee, a couple of doobies, and he's away.
I have to get a new coffee machine because my Keurig blew up.
Oh, have you got a bean machine or just a?
I use a coffee pot.
Bean to cup, or is it just a normal Nespresso type thing? Tony, what have you got?
It's one of the Keurig K-cup ones.
Oh, don't know what that is. Explain.
Keurig.
They have the pre-made ones, but I just pour my own.
What, beans in or powder?
No,
see, ours we have bean ones that it grounds the beans for you. We have those.
We don't have those so much anymore. Does your grocery store have that, Alonzo?
Yeah, we have a grinding machine that does it for you. And sometimes I get the whole beans, or I get the powdered ones.
Alonzo gets a discount.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, our coffee isn't that bad. It's good, actually.
Yeah, right. It used to be like every grocery store had the coffee grinder so you can make your own coffee grounds.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. We have one that had the coffee beans on the wall, on the shelf right there, that you pour into the coffee
Yeah,
bag and you put it in the grinder at the
yeah.
store. Pretty cool. Russ, so we actually drink coffee or tea.
I drink tea, mate. I have coffee about 3-4 times a year, and that's usually at Christmas time.
Tea.
I drink lots of tea. I'm English, tea drinker.
Well, Sam Greenwood talked about how coffee has gotten more popular as the time went on because of the youngsters and all that, Starbucks and all that stuff.
Sam's not English, so it doesn't matter what he thinks.
Yeah, it's like he's Norwegian. Right. So this is the time of the day where we end the podcast, because I'm sure you guys got stuff to do. Russ, any last words?
Nope.
Right.
Just see you
Tony,
tomorrow.
Tony, any last words before you get out of here?
Catch us at the same time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central, 10 Pacific, and 1800 in the UK, as Russ likes to say. So we can watch
Indeed.
Night of the Champions.
Alright, it's at 12 o'clock guard time, Tony?
Yeah. I think they moved it up because I think originally it was like 2:30, but
I thought it was 3 o'clock guard time.
it's noon.
Alright, guys, well, thanks for joining us on the Ultimate Church Galaxy podcast. Take it easy and have a good Friday. Bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo, as Russ would be saying.
Bye, Riddy. Thank you.
Bye, Ricky. Thanks for coming on, pal.